What's poppino? What's poppino? Zeke Black is in the building. Definitely, for those that celebrate Christmas, definitely, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Wherever you, what I'm saying, how you break it down, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, just Happy Holidays, man. We're touching on a touchy subject, and this is gonna be a 2-part series because I can't sum this up in an hour. I have to start from the top. Salute to Pat Porter. This is Pat's story. The real pain unfolded me. She's speaking about Apple. There's things I'm gonna touch on. I got some notes. She's speaking about Uncle Apple. She's speaking about Darnell, rest in peace, and Rich. Apple name has come up a couple of times. Shout out to salute. Avon was popping, Angie was goody. She's touched on some AZ stories, top of the top. She talked about LA. This Vlad interview was dope. Shout out to Vlad. But we have to start from the top. A lot of us really started to pay attention to the story again. But I'm going to tell you what year we in, Curtis. We're in 1990. We're in 1990. To deal with the facts, we're in 89, 90. That's where we at, though. 89, 1989, 1990. But it has to be a 2-part series. Definitely Curtis is in the building. Your cousin was popping. We're touching on the touch-ons. The necessaries, the do's and the don'ts. This is one of those type of shows. The do's and the don'ts. Now, this is the most important part of the story. Let's start from the top. A guy named Albert Martinez does an interview for Fred Magazine, K-Slave Mixtapes. And he's mentioning situations with a guy named Big Head Gabby, Little Gabby, in Richport. We're going to take it back to the last time that Miss Pat Porter was with her brother. They was at a Jackson Hole. I don't know which one. There's one around my way on the east side. There's one on the west side, the upper west side. I don't know. There's two on the upper east side, 64th Street. There was one on 2nd Avenue. Those are spots that I posted the actual location, one of the locations up on my community board, certain restaurants that I frequent. Definitely the 80s Jackson. Definitely shout out to Jackson Hole. We had the steakhouse on 86, then we had Jackson Hole on 2nd Avenue. Then on 64th Street. Just like we had Midnight's Green Kitchen. Depends on where you was at. On the Upper East Side. Definitely shout out to the Upper East Side. We here, party people. Shout out to everything on the Upper East Side. She was with her brother at a family gathering, and then that night, the awful happened. Her brother was found, not Darnell, but Rich Porter, on City Island in the Bronx. City Island is a location where it's by Orchard Beach. It is also by a bunch of restaurants. You may have heard of Sammy's. Sammy's is in seafood spot, is in City Island. Let's do the do's, not the don'ts. The necessaries. But let's take it from the top. Now, we're going to salute Pat Porter. Merry Christmas, Pat Porter. Merry Christmas to Pat Porter. We're going to have to give her just due. Merry Christmas to Miss Pat Porter. We're going to start from the top. A guy named Albert Martinez goes on a mixtape, K-Slave mixtape, and he speaks about Richard Porter. Richard Porter. That's who he speaks about, Richard Porter. So we're going to play the content. I can't show what network I got it from because these guys are different. This is Albert.
Yo, man. Dude, Rich up in New York, man. man. And he knew Rich from me bringing him to New York because we used to do the firework thing in New York. Okay. Every 4th of July, I used to spend like 10,000, 15,000 with these guineas downtown and get me like a truck full of fireworks and come back to my neighborhood and blow it all up and all that. Okay. Around 105th Street. And this time I did it around 102nd Street with Rich and all that. And I brought my little man, because they never seen nothing like that being in D.C. They couldn't really do stuff like that. So I brought him to New York to show him how we live up there and all that. Okay. So he wanted me and Rich in that process and all that. So I went back to D.C. I said, yo, man, this dude here, man. I just found out this dude is jerking me, man. He's like, what you talking about, Paul? I said, man, this dude getting the bricks from my man. I'm supposed to get half at this price. And he charging me this price because I'm thinking it's still coming from his connect. And his first thing come out, he's like, man, let's kill him, man. I was like, nah, just hold up for a minute. Let me think about this thing. So I wound up calling Rich. I said, yo, Rich, everything all right? Your man back on? So I'm just checking. I said, your man back on? He said, oh, yeah, my man just gave me some more joints. You coming up? I said, yeah, I'll be there. I said, all right. I told my little man, I said, yo, we going to New York, man, and we going to go see Rich. No, first I went to New York. I took care of my business with him. I spent about $500,000 with him and got my bricks and all that. And
now let's stop this right here. Around the time that he said that he called Rich, isn't that when Darnell was missing? So Rich doesn't speak to you about his brother, but he speaks to you about this re-up, and that's the conversation you have. You're not talking about Darnell. You're talking about a re-up. This is around the time when Darnell was missing. Come on. Can I get some? Can somebody please tell me? He said he called him about a re-up, not about his brother.
I think he was getting them from. He was also getting bricks from like Fritz and them. I don't know if you ever heard of the kid Fritz. Yeah, I heard of Fritz. Yeah, he was. Fritz was getting boatloads of that stuff. I wound up taking it back to DC. So I'm still not saying that. So I'm saying my little man. I said, yo, man, that's it, man. I'm gonna go back to New York. I said, yo, I'm gonna ask Rich. I'm gonna step to him because I'm really like just fed up with it now. I said, yo, I'm gonna ask Rich who he got that coke from. This last day, who he getting this coke from? And if he lied to me again, that's it. So I'm taking him out.
Mr. Warbucks hit it on the nose. He's jerking you, and you go back to go see him with $500K? Let's make this make sense. You're jerking me. My man says to smoke you. I'm still gonna go, yo, son, I got $500,000 to spend with you. Mr. Warbucks, great point right there. Great point right there. Yes. Great point right there. Yo, Poe. A man is jerking you. I know you jerking me. I'm gonna go spend $500K more so you could jerk me some more. You gonna take another $100,000 from me? You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna give you $100,000 cash.
So now I told my little man this. I'm saying, yo, you come. I said, yo, we gonna go to New York. I had just got me a customized van. I just bought me a customized van. The big joints with the TV and the band and all that. Okay. So I had just bought one of those, and it was up there in the shop getting the system done and all that. So I told my little man, I said, yo, we gonna go to New York. We're gonna fly to New York. I'm gonna get with Rich, and I'm gonna find out what the hell is going on. Okay. So one thing led to another, and I don't want to go into all, but did I? The question is, did I have anything? Did I kill Rich? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, I killed Rich. How'd that come about? You just. Because everything on the street said that a limousine pulled up. Huh? A limousine pulled up and put Richard in a.
Isn't there other content that he said that Rich Porter was in the big body? Remember the gold big body he had? Remember the gold big body? If you was outside, you know what I'm talking about. Didn't he say in one of his other interviews, not G checking him, I'm not G checking him, but didn't he say, yo, we have Rich in the big body? The news report says Rich got into a sedan. So where did Rich Porter meet you at that you got into the van, bro? Again.
Car or that's what they said? Yeah. No. That's what that didn't happen. That's for them to see later on, Antoine. That didn't happen, Antoine. That didn't happen. But I know the thing is, did I kill Rich? And yes, I killed Rich. Why did I kill him? It wasn't personal. It was business. I'm gonna tell you this.
Now he just said it was a van, the new van, custom made. On K Slay, he said something different, or something else. He said something different. So we get it. We don't know. Maybe he forgot over the years sitting in the penitentiary. He forgot what kind of car Poe got in. We don't. It's not a Poe. This isn't about Rich and Poe, but this is about Rich and Poe. Let's get back to it.
Because Rich, like I told you, like the story I do with the connect and all that. Rich, he was lying to me about something that there was no reason to lie to me about, and in my mind, it just told me that if this.
True School, you know, people in life, when somebody passes away in their life, we don't walk around here sad and depressed. It's just a human reaction. I think it was family time. They were celebrating as a family. They was okay with the situation that happened with Darnell. They was dealing with that. You got to understand, definitely, Tom, I appreciate that. Tom, I definitely appreciate that. Tyler Perry, I definitely appreciate that. It was family time, man. Now, if somebody died in our family, we don't walk around here depressed, ready to kill ourselves. And, when people get murdered in our family, we don't walk around and cry every 5 minutes. And, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to make it sound well versed. You're gonna get there. We're getting there, True School. We're getting there, baby boy. We're getting there. Getting there. You gotta get there.
This little bit of money can come between what I thought was.
Now think about it. There's two things that I don't think make sense. There's two things that I don't think that makes sense. There's a couple of things that you say don't make sense. You said that, like, I feel you, True School. Yo, it doesn't make sense. That why would he be celebrating and they kidnapped his brother? What doesn't make sense to me? If you're jerking me on the grams or bricks, why would I spend another $500,000 with you? So some things don't make sense, but when you're speaking to a larger audience, it begin to make sense, right? I'm not spending more money with somebody who's jerking me. I'm just not gonna fuck with you. Why am I not put more money in your pocket for you to jerk me? That must have meant that I don't have a connect. That means that I can't get nothing if I'm forced to call you. That's how the game goes. Not talking to you per se, because your opinion is definitely respected. But I'm saying in general, if I can't find it, then I call this nigga. I know he gonna get me. So my question is, was Alpo name bad with the stick-up game so bad that he couldn't go no place else with 500,000? That's the question. Why did he have to go to Rich for? It wasn't consignment. That doesn't make sense. 500,000, you're jerking me. I could call somebody else and still have beef with you. Like, man, when I see this nigga, we're gonna shake, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to that. This is gonna be a 2-part series because I can't do this all in an hour. You add the numbers up again. He had an option of not going to see him with that 500,000, and I respect that, Will. But you have an option. My connect said he's beating me. I think he called around. Niggas was like, I don't got nothing. He's forced to call Rich. That part I don't know. I don't really follow the DC cats, but I heard that name before, but I really don't follow DC. You know, that whole DC wave. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, I'm not too sure about that. I can check though. Let's get back to the content. This is what we're here for.
A wonderful relationship and a friendship, then no telling what you might send me down the line for. And I gave him the opportunity to tell me the truth, not once but twice. So when I already made the when I already kept with the plan with my little man, and like, yo, if he lied to me, we just gonna do what we need to do. Then that's what happened. Did I kill the little brother? No, I didn't. That was, you know who that was, right? Right. You know who that was? Right. They said it was Preacher. No, that's who it was. They got not just Preacher, but Richard's uncle Apple. Right. They did that. And what made it seem like I had something to do with it is because where I left Richard, the boy's body was found almost in that same whole City Island area. Now, they said you carried the body all the way from...
This is the one part about what he just said is weird. If he would admit it in 1991 when he got locked up for killing Rich Porter, that would have made the newspaper. Because Rich Porter's original murder was in the newspaper. So why, when he admitted it with immunity, right? Immunity, but he still admitted that he killed Rich Porter, that never hit the press. That never hit the press. That never hit no newspaper. I'm not taking nothing else away from him. He told, he caught bodies, he made already love. This is not one of those type of segments. Question is, in 1991, when he got locked up, or the year he got locked up, why he didn't, why it wasn't in the New York Daily News. Albert Martinez admits to killing Rich Porter. Why? Huh, exactly. But he killed a prominent member, no matter what they say about Rich, in the New York crime syndicate. Why, even in DC, why Rich Porter's name is not in the DC newspapers as an Alpo killing Rich Porter? On a mixtape. On a mixtape. He admitted he killed him on a mixtape. But he said when he originally got locked up, he had to admit to all these crimes and he got immunity. And part of his immunity was admitting his New York bodies. We're gonna get to the New York bodies though. So what year did he actually finally admit that he killed Rich? Yo, I ain't do what little Gary did. Big Head Gary did it. Boom.
Harlem to City Island? You wasn't afraid? No. I mean, once that first murder, once you take care of that first murder in your life, you know, it's very like really, and not that this is a good thing that I'm saying, but you know, once you do it once, it's like everything else is. No, I wasn't afraid. No, I wasn't afraid.
Now it still is an old news. They was able to make a movie off that. They made like 4 DVDs off of that. You know, the game is over. Fed magazine. That wasn't old news. That shit went viral. Him saying it on the mixtape went viral. That's news. That's content. They got a budget from Rockefeller Films. Got a budget to make a movie just off of Alpo saying he killed Rich Porter because AZ been out here. They wasn't making an AZ getting shot movie, even though Paid in Full was based off of AZ's story. You know what I'm saying? They didn't see the victims. Rich Porter is a prominent name in New York City. But then, even though he got immunity in the feds for those bodies, what happened to the state of New York. Was Alpo ever charged with any homicides in the state of New York? That's the question. Immunity in the feds. He got immunity in the feds. Listen. He has immunity in the feds. Okay. I'm working with y'all. But what happened to him being charged in New York State? They got Fat Cat. Fat Cat still caught a state charge for killing that PO. That shit ain't go nowhere. His Fed case is some other shit. So now let's talk about this. Since you want to talk about he got immunity with the feds, that shit ain't got nothing to do with the state of New York. And y'all know this. Some of you niggas been up north. Y'all niggas know this. The people in New York is a different type of game. So what happened to him being charged with killing Rich Porter in the state of New York? I know a bunch of niggas who told on homicides in New York and still went to jail. Yeah, you can say RP tomorrow day. This isn't an outpost slandering campaign. This is not an outpost. To let y'all know, this is not an outpost slander campaign. This is dealing with dealing with my opinion in the situation. What happened to him being charged with him getting immunity in the feds for those homicides? What happened to the state case? DC, him catching the body in DC makes sense to tell because DC is not a state. DC is federal property. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can tell 1,000 niggas. There's no up north. You don't go up north from DC. You gotta do is catching DWIs in DC, catching fed charges. But in the state of New York, in the great state of New York, was Alpo ever arraigned on the homicide of Rich Porter? Like I said, this is an outpost slandering campaign. We're dealing with the facts. This is how I got set off. He did the interview with K Slade. This is Fed Magazine. Right? Let's see. Hold on a second. I'll post a story about killing Big Head Gary. Here we go, party people.
How you know he said, well, man in D.C.
Shout out to my man Bang Bang TV, you heard?
That he was holding like that. He was getting it. And he had a real short man complex. Okay, and like I said, we wasn't just business partners. I knew a lot of his business. I knew his family. He knew my family in D.C. and in New York. You know, I knew his son's mother. I knew where he laid his head. He knew where I laid my head sometimes. You know, I knew some of his stashes. He knew some of my stashes. We became real close. So, and he was also the one with me with Rich.
So he admits to 4 homicides for New York State. Gets clarity from them, but 3 of the homicides is stick-up kids that was allegedly robbing AZ. But AZ name is not in his paperwork. Who's the stick-up kids? Let's talk about this. 3 stick-up kids got murdered, right? But the 3 stick-up kids that he said he murdered, the feds don't go pick it up, to submit to those bodies, and throw it away. You get immunity on that. Mr. White Bills Mr. White Bills is in the building. Of the jukebox. AZ name is not in his paperwork. Whoever would like the paperwork, is my email is zekeblack131@gmail.com. In his testimony against them, they do not. And I got the paperwork. I'm gonna read the heading of the paperwork. AZ is not in this paperwork. No jukebox, no Rich Porter, no nothing. So I don't understand how Rich Porter name even came up. It's not in the paperwork, the indictment. Let's go to the get down. It's little Gary. This is what I'm talking about, little Gary. That's in the paperwork, though. This conversation's in the paperwork.
He had the short man comment, and he started to become real jealous with me as far as through the people, because the people used to, since I was outpo, people used to see him with me all the time and think he was working for me. Right. Because not until I came to DC, really, he started coming out with like Benzes and all that, because he seen when I was there, so he started busting out with little Benzes and all that type of 300 coupes and all that. Right. And I always had the reputation if you let me your car, Antoine, automatically that was my car. Right. That was my car. And then if they seen you, they're like, oh yeah, he drives a full car. So
shout out to Dog Soldier. Shout out to Dog Soldier, man, for the donation to the United. Shout out to Dog Soldiers to the donation to the United. Where's that, man? Shout out to Dog Soldier for the 718 drop to the United End Fund. We're doing the necessaries, the do's and don'ts. Let's get there. Let's get back to the get back. I told you it's gonna be a 2-part series. Boom. Exactly, Mr. Warbucks. Stick 'em, kids. Who was just sticking up? You didn't have a spot on the east side. You was whopping up. You was killing niggas. You didn't have a real spot on 12th or 13th Street. The jukebox. I'm gonna say allegedly. We're gonna say allegedly, because these are some homicides that you got immunity for, but somebody must be sitting in the penitentiary for. And when he sat down with you, and when he sat down with your ass, and they asked you about Darnell, you pointed them in the right direction, most likely. Yo, it wasn't me. It was preaching them niggas. That's the word on the street. That's my opinion. What? What makes you think that? You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's me. That's a reach. So I'm not even saying that. I'm gonna scratch that out. Because like I told you. You know what I'm saying? Got you. Oh, he's talked about boom. The robberies. Okay. I like that. Well versed, Mr. Warbucks. He's talking about stick-ups that he did with Randy Love. And some people may have passed away. But Randy been in jail for the last 25 years. So which body you told on, bro? You know what I'm saying? Is it Randy Love in jail for a body? But a couple of those bodies I think Randy beat. So whatever bodies he told on, I believe was some of them shits that Randy Love beat. Because I think he beat a body or two before he got the one he got now. I don't know, because I remember when I was on First Side, Randy Love had just came home from a body. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember that. When Randy Love first came home, then he went back. Randy Love was beating bodies. I don't know how many bodies Randy Love beat. So that's what he probably, yeah, we did that shit. Why? But Randy Love might have beaten them bodies. If he said those bodies was with Randy beat those bodies except one, the one he's sitting up in jail now for, I believe. But y'all can do your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know your jail niggas. Go holler. Yo, how many bodies Randy Love beat? I think he beat a couple. 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so now we getting somewhere. Wait a minute. Let me get back to the get back. Now, this little Gary conversation that he's having, because I will take you off the content.
One day, me and him and one of his workers was sitting at a table at a restaurant having a sandwich.
Yep. He came home, then he went back. Yep. Mr. Warbucks came home and went back. That was 9-2. Like around 9-2. He came home and went back. Yep. Early 90s.
He called my wife a bitch. Because he was like, man, you still with that crazy bitch? And I just looked over at him. And I could have took it a little better if it was just me and him. But one of his workers was there. Right. And I kind of like gave him that look like, yo, you really disrespected me Gary right now, and so he seen her. She was coming to look for me down South End because she knew I hung out down there. So the kid, Gary seen her, he was like, yo, there go that bitch. Look at that bitch. Who she looking for? She must be looking for Poe. And my man Wayne heard him say this. And he beat me. He beat me there. He was like, yo, Gary was down here talking trash about you and disrespected your wife. I was going to kill him right there, but I said, let me get with you first. Because I was like, no, I still got love for the kid. No, he's just frustrated right now. And we had a lot of secrets on one another, and I always told them before this happened. I said, you know, we know.
Now, this is him talking about Little Gabby, right? So I'm going to get to the get down, man, because this is what you're here for. This is the indictment party, people. Here go the indictment. Here go. This is what Alpo told on. This is the case, actually. The case is against United States District Court for the District of Columbia, holding a criminal term grand jury sworn in October 29th, 1990. United States of America versus William Anthony Perry, Tyrone LaSalle Price, Michael Anthony Jackson. These are the guys that that was alive that he told on. It goes March 4th, 1993, filed in open court, superseding indictment. Okay, let's talk about this shit. It starts in 1998. Here go the beginning. Beginning in 1980, in the spring of 1988, the exact date being unknown to the grand jury, and continuing thereafter up to and including December 18th, 1991, within the District of Columbia, the Eastern District of Virginia, the District of Maryland, the Southern and Eastern Districts of New York, the Northern District of Ohio, and elsewhere, the defendants Wayne Anthony Perry, Tyrone LaSalle Price, and Michael Anthony Jackson did unlawfully, knowingly, intentionally combine, conspire, confederate, and agree together with each other with Albert G. Martinez, with co-conspirators not indicted hereon, and with others known and unknown to the grand jury. This is Alpo telling his story. Salute wise Brim was popping. We're going to get to the get down. All right, how it goes. So this indictment started in 1988. What was going on in 1988 in New York City? AZ was going through his situation, right? Everything changed. 1988, Poe in D.C. Hector, Daddy, Eastside niggas was out there in D.C. Let's get to the get down. He was running with D.C. cats. This is where this shit started in 88. There's no mention of in 88. Wasn't he running around? Wasn't he still cool with Rich? Wasn't he still cool with AZ? There's no mentioning of this to 88. Let's go to it. Little Gabby. He's in this paperwork. It goes, Wayne Anthony Perry was the chief enforcer and bodyguard for Albert G. Martinez in the drug conspiracy. The conspiracy, Confederatism, referred to collectively as the Martinez Drug Organization. Controlled and directed Albert G. Martinez, also known as Alpo, Wayne Anthony Perry, and his defense, Tyrone LaSalle Price, Michael Anthony Jackson, and other co-conspirators, both known and unknown to the grand jury, including Thomas Leroy Dozier, deceased, Shelton Cortez Watkins, deceased, and Garrett Terrell, deceased. Garrett Terrell is Big Head Gary. You know what I'm saying? Use armed and unarmed force violence and intimidation, including murder, kidnapping, and robbery to promote, protect, and to perpetrate the illegal drug trafficking operation of the Martinez Drug Organization and to enhance the reputation of the conspiracy as a group to be feared. Now let's get to the great Little Gary. We get into Little Gary real soon. Because I told you, this is not a show about disrespecting Alpo. We're just dealing with the paperwork that we salute. We're dealing with the paperwork and what's in the paperwork and things that he said out of his mouth. There's no mention of Rich Porter here. There's no mention of AZ. This is all DC. But to be well versed in, the murder of Rich Porter was in the furtherance of the Alpo Martinez organization. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's on the give me a call, China, but it's the Albert Martinez organization. Keep that in mind, but I'm telling you, the murder of him, he said, is because he was jerking him for the re-ups that he was going to DC with. The grams, he was beating him. So this would be included with this. Because the man he says that killed him is actually a co-conspirator in this. I'm not a law library. I don't fight in the law library. I'm not a law judge guy. That's not what Zeke Black do. The paper will speak for itself. So the murder of Rich Porter, to be well versed, no disrespect to the Porter family, Merry Christmas. Exactly. Exactly. Because that dealt with that case, the furtherance of their drug operation. You're beating us on the re-up. So the Rich Porter murder wasn't really, it's actually a part of that conspiracy. If I kill somebody because, you beating me on the re-up, that's benefiting my drug organization, that's part of the conspiracy. That would have made basically Rich Porter a co-conspirator in this fucking case. Exactly. Yeah. Shout out to Manny Black. I'm gonna check that out, man. But let's get here. Let's get to the do's. Let's get to the do's and not the don'ts. Not yet, but they breaking it down. We're in 88, 89. Remember, they went back. Their case them starts from 1989 in DC. That's the date that they started with. The story that Alpo told them. This is the story that Alpo sat behind the desk and told them. Rich Porter would be a co-conspirator because that's the guy that they was weaning up for him. And he got murdered because allegedly, not saying murdered, no disrespect to the Porter family, he got murdered because Rich Porter was allegedly beating him on the prices. So here we go. Now we get into the point. Here it goes. 1989, right? They mentioned in where are we at? July 89, that's too soon. What time of year did Darnell pass away? What time of year was that? No, he got kidnapped. What time of year did Darnell get kidnapped? Oh, here it goes. In December 1989. We touched on December. Here it goes, party people. I'm going to give you a look for the paperwork. Paperwork. Shout out to Crown Court TV for getting the paperwork to me. Exactly. Boom. Here it goes right here. Boom. This is the paperwork. Now listen to this. On or about December 29th, 1989, the exact date being unknown to the grand jury within the District of Columbia and elsewhere, Wayne Anthony Perry and Shelton Cortez Watkins suggested to Albert G. Martinez that they killed David W. Short, also known as David Duke, also known as Duke, because they believed that he was planning to steal money and cocaine from the Martinez drug organization and possibly kill Albert G. Martinez. All right. Exactly. On or about May 12th. Exactly. On or about December 26, 1989, within the District of Maryland, Wayne Perry together with Albert G. Martinez and Shelton Cortez Watkins, while armed with a 25 caliber pistol and a 38 caliber firearm, purposely and with deliberate and premeditated malice, killed David W. Short, also known as David Duke, also known as Duke, by shooting him, thereby causing injuries from which David W. Short died on about December 26, 1989, in violation of the laws of the state of Maryland. This is what they did December 26th. So this is what brought Al Popali to New York after that homicide. After that. Now, the P-Dub stops. This is where we at, party people. Number 7. I'm going to show you where we at. Here we go. The number 7. For those that's looking, you want the paperwork, I can get it to you. That's what it says. There's no mention of Rich Porter. The next time they mention this is on May 12, 1990. Now, why wouldn't Rich Porter be in here if you had murdered him? Especially not murdered, but he was killed because he was definitely shout out to the movement, because he did what he did. You see what I'm saying? Now, so now with that being said, we're in 1990. Now listen, Wayne Perry, while armed with a pistol, purposely and deliberate and premeditated malice, killed James Henson by shooting him. And this is just rest in peace to anybody that passed away, probably your family members, no disrespect. This is just me doing the show. We just get into what we get into, you know what I'm saying? Just take these notes in. On May 12th, that's when it resumes. There's no mention of Rich Porter. Remember, Rich Porter, the situation had nothing to do with nothing personal. It wasn't a dice game going wrong. It wasn't a robbery going wrong. It was a situation that he said he was robbing me on the way up for my organization in D.C. That would be in here. Unity in that would be in there. You know what I'm saying? Years later, no, I'm gonna make you laugh, Mr. Warbucks. Here we go. I'm happy you said that, bro. This is why I love Crown Court TV. He deal with the due diligences of their diligences, right? He said Little Gabby. You said Little Gabby, right? Hold on. Let me do this right. Mr. Warbucks is in the building. This is where the do's and the don'ts. The do's and the don't, the necessary necessaries. You heard? We're doing the necessary necessaries. Now listen, on or about February 24th, 1991 in New York, Albert G. Martinez purchased 8 9mm pistols from Michael Kelly. There's a Michael Kelly in New York that he said he bought 8 guns from. Pistols from Michael Kelly for use by members of the Martinez Drug Organization. On or about February 27th, 1991 in New York, Albert G. Martinez purchased 13 9mm pistols from Michael Kelly for use by members of the Martinez Drug Organization. On or about July 1991, exact date being unknown to the grand jury within the District of Columbia, Wayne Perry and Albert G. Martinez decided to eliminate a rival drug dealer from New York named Dementio Benson, as they concluded that he posed a threat to the Martinez Drug Organization. See, they had to bring that up with Dementio. Why did y'all kill him for? Because he was coming in the way of the furtherance of our organization. He ain't say, yo, we killed him because he disrespected my wife and slapped her. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? He ain't say he slapped her. He ain't say that. He said, yo, he came the way of he mentioned the guy he bought the guns from, Michael Kelly. I thought, so again, Wayne Perry's name is not in this P-Dub. He mentioned he bought the guns from Michael Kelly, and those guns is used to allegedly be used to cause harm to Demencio because Demencio came in the way of the organization. What did Outpost say on the DVD? Yo, he slapped my wife, or he just slapped my wife, so I had to get at him. That's not what this says. It's easy to say, yo, my people's Demencio was he disrespected my wife, so I had to take care of. Now again, this is not an Outpost slandering campaign. You're dealing with the P-Dub. If you like the P-Dub, it's ZekeBlack131 at gmail.com. Again, no mention of Rich. If he admitted anything with Rich Porter after that, that was for the clout. That was all clout. Yeah, little Gabby killed him. I ain't do it. That was a great move. That was a chess move. But in his case, this is the case that Alpo told on. And I was lucky to get it because luckily it was in Wayne Perry's. It's something that dealt with Wayne Perry. His indictment. They got Michael Frey in there. Mm-hmm. Here it goes. Columbia. Michael J. Jackson. Here we go, party people. This is number 12 on the indictment. Number 12. Look, number 12. This is what we're going to get to. This is where Rich Porter name should have pulled up at, right? This is where Rich Porter name should have pulled up on. Michael J. Jackson, Michael Anthony Jackson, informed Wayne Perry and Albert G. Martinez that Garrett Terrell was planning to rob the Martinez drug organization of an expected 100-kilogram cocaine shipment, along with cash to be used as the down payment for the cocaine. From on or about October 22nd, 1991 to on or about October 23rd, 1991 within the District of Columbia, Wayne Anthony Perry, Tyrone LaSalle Price, together with Albert G. Martinez, Thomas Leroy Dozier, Jerome Kearney, and other conspirators known and unknown to the grand jury while armed with .38 caliber and a 9mm pistols purposely and with deliberate premeditated malice killed Garrett Terrell by shooting him with .38 caliber and a 9mm pistol, thereby causing injuries which Garrett Terrell died on about October 23rd, 1991. You see that? Do y'all see this? Y'all just hear that? Where was this 100-kilo deals going down at? It wasn't going down to Virginia. It wasn't going down to South Carolina. The alleged 100-kilo deal out of Alpo mouth was, yeah, the alleged 100-kilo deal was supposed to be done in New York. You hit that like button, man. You're doing the do, right? So again, there's no mention of Rich Porter. Little Gary died for a deal that was supposed to go down in New York. The 100-kilo deal was supposed to go down to New York, not in Virginia, not in Ohio, not in Mississippi, not in St. Louis. Shout out to West Side St. Louis. It's the paperwork. If you would like it, it's Zeke Black. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for a lot of you guys that was Alpo fans. I get it. I respect the Alpo. I respect that. I'm not a hater. This isn't an Alpo bashing campaign. I have to start here to get where we going. Because Pat touched on the last time she's seen her brother. Well, the last time you seen your brother in this paperwork, it's not mentioned. I don't know what Alpo did after. He said on K-Slade mixtape, he said what he said. Him testifying, no, this is the paperwork. What they don't have an Alpo was his profit. They don't have his profit. They don't have his agreement with the government. He has that. But this is the case he told them. Alpo Martinez's case is not a wiretap case. It's a case that he went and told the feds. It's what he told them: dates, homicides, bodies. So this is the paperwork, brother. This is the indictment that he testified against Wayne Perry about, and whoever else is on that indictment. This is the paperwork. Yes, this is the paperwork. You know what the paperwork is, man. Let's not become fans of the individual. This is why I get. I'm being unbiased here, but I'm dealing with facts. My indictment is my indictment. I can't get around my indictment. This is an indictment. This is the actual indictment. This is it. This is what he told them. This is what he used against them. He mentioned Little Gary, who killed Little Gary, and why they killed Little Gary. Little Gary killed. Because we killed Rich for the furtherance of the gang. You can't get around that, bro. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying in general. Talk to the people that's not from the United States of America. We're from New York. We're from the East Coast shit. But let's do this shit right, man. Let's stop sitting here and going, well, he said, well, this is not in this paperwork. This is not in this indictment. He mentioned the murder. He mentioned the murder of Demencio. He mentioned the murder of Little Gary. And Little Gary died for a drug deal that was supposed to go down in New York City. That drug deal wasn't going down in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's not deceive the world. This is why niggas like Whack 100 is going in on New York, because he started picking and choosing. Let's deal with the facts. Poe lied. And in that one situation, I feel he lied. I feel he threw that. If Little Gary is the body in that situation, he threw that on Little Gary. He threw that on Little Gary as if, yo, fuck, this ain't Little Gary did it. But you know what, though? Rich Porter's resting in peace, man. His sister's speaking for him, bro. An indictment is an indictment. That's your case, right? Your indictment. You get your paperwork on your case. This is why niggas go in on us, because you start there, but no, the indictment, that's the case. Little Gary's a part of that indictment, but he's dead. It says it. Little Gary Garnett is a co-conspirator, but he's dead. He's deceased. Little Gary died for a drug deal that was supposed to go down to New York City. Alpo mentions the gun dealer, the nigga he bought the guns from, the guy he bought the guns from, and one of the guns is used to allegedly murder Demencio. Not because Demencio slapped his girl, for the furtherance of his gang, because he was in the way of me getting money. That was the well-versed words that he had to use to them niggas. But why he killed Demencio for? Because he was competition. He didn't say, yo, he slapped my girl, plus he was competition. He told us that. Nah, I ain't kill a nigga because he was competition. Basically, I killed him because he disrespected my wife. Like Little Gary. I really ain't, you know what I'm saying? He disrespected my wife, so that's why I really killed him, because he said it in front of mad niggas. Can't make this shit up. He was well versed. I got to give Poe that. He was well versed. You can't hate on him. He's well versed. That indictment is a movie. Those are his words. That case is not a wiretap case. So when people will ask me, yo, Zeke Black, why you don't think that Poe did that? It's not in this. Just remember, his immunity is, he got immunity. Think about what he said. They gave me immunity for killing Rich Porter, when all in all, Rich Porter would be a co-conspirator in this case. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a guy that was reading up through, that was Jay jerking you. Please, if I'm wrong, somebody hop in here. Please, let's build and destroy. I'm on StreamYard. You want to pull up to the StreamYard? You guys can. If you guys would like to jump up in the StreamYard, you can. We can build on this real fast. There's going to be a part 2 to this. But we have to start from the top. So now, I'm not going to talk, because now everything else, I don't have to talk about Poe, because my paperwork says he didn't kill him. I'm just sorry. His name ain't even mentioned in this. Little Gary died for a supposed drug deal uptown. The drug deal wasn't going down in Virginia. I'm telling you, it wasn't. It was supposed to be a bunch of guys from New York City, allegedly, that was putting some money together to do a big drug deal to lock down the Atlantic coast. It never happened. There was a lot of key components at that meeting at Sammy's. The same spot I showed y'all where I'm eating at in City Yard, there was a big meeting there. But that's their business, not mine. Yeah, come on. Let's have this conversation. Let's have this conversation. Yeah, he needs to tie the loose ends. His lawyer. How? That's Poe's story. That's his story. But this paperwork, he said he ran his mouth. He probably did most likely the jail cast, but he ran his mouth to Michael J. Jackson. Michael Anthony J. What the hell is Michael Jackson, MJ? And that's what got him super murdered. But what the outpost said, even though he's running his mouth, he disrespected my girl, and that was it. So he still was giving little Gabby a chance, right? That's out of his mouth. This is his words. See, what happened is there wasn't a patient.com. So to get federal paperwork, you couldn't get it. Now, because of patient.com, it affords people like us to get paperwork. We may not be able to get outpost paperwork, but we got the actual indictment that he told on. There's a lot of bodies he admitted to in this shit. But the weird part is how he mentioned the guy he bought the guns from in New York. Michael Kelly. That's weird. And the guns that was... So, Deputy Shot to Pat Porter, man. If y'all want the indictment, I'm going to put the information in the joint, man. I send it to y'all for free, man. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't a hate mail. Yeah, this is in the paperwork. Yes, he definitely is. He was getting a lot of his homeboys smoked. You know what I'm saying? And because I don't want to go against nobody's content that's actually doing outpost content. Because I have to be unbiased here. So I'm not here to try to make it look like outpost a liar. I'm just speaking on my opinion and with the facts I think I believe I have. This is a legal court document that Z Black has. So it's not from, you know what I'm saying? Yep, he offered that information up. His original indictment was some shit from VA. This is his words. This story is a movie. It's just that when he sat down, maybe he wasn't well versed or prepared. So he's just answering and speaking and just talking. And you notice that when he asked him about Rich Porter, he stopped. Because now you got to make it make sense. But then for him to say that he got immunity for killing Rich, wait a minute. You just said that Rich was beating you on the gram, so you was going to DC. You would have mentioned that. That's why he died. He mentioned why Demencio passed away, right? He said he was in the way. So why not mention that the guy that the man that you killed allegedly was because he was beating you on the grams for you to go to DC and you spending $500,000. Like I said, man, I'm not here to figure this out, man. I'm not people's court, you heard? I'm just Z Black, you know what I'm saying? Whoever would like to indict me, shout out to my man, what's his name? My man King Bumpy Johnson. Follow him on YouTube. I got whoever want the paperwork, I got it for y'all. Listen, I'm gonna put the let me get the Zeke Blacks up there. Now, somebody asked me why I'm not doing the Tory Lanez, those other stuff content, is because that's not my lane. That's just not me. That's not my lane. You know what I'm saying? I tried that lane. That lane does not work for Zeke Black. No, I don't wish jail on nobody. Tory, I got to do with that for you. I got to do it, but I don't follow that. I tried to follow that lane. That lane does not work for me. It does not work for me. It works for Crown Court TV and a host of others. It does not work for me. I try to do the exclusive. Boom. Nobody's here. You're here for this. So I have to deal with my consumers while you're here for. Even if we create a conversation. I don't even want you to agree with me. Because it's not about you agreeing with me. It's about hearing something and then creating a conversation. Because it's information. It's up to for y'all to believe what you want to believe. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You know, ever want the paperwork? This is it. Want that P dub? You know what I'm saying? Let me see something, man. That wasn't even the real China, man. That wasn't China. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even China. That wasn't China. You know what I'm saying? Just to let you know that that wasn't China that was in there talking about Joffrey. That was a troll. That wasn't China. That's why I didn't respond to that. Like, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? See, China would have called me. He not hit my DM. You know what I'm saying? That's it. ZekeBlack131@gmail.com. You will like it's not even Wayne's paperwork. It's just Wayne Perry's it's the indictment that Alpo told on. You want the paperwork? It's a movie though. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a movie, party people. It's a movie. It's his words. There's no wiretaps in this. It's his words. Well versed, well dated. There's no mention of Darnell. There's no mention of none of that. It's Alpo Martinez DC organization. Part of his organization is the re-up. Am I correct? That's part of who you get your drugs from. He mentioned he bought his guns from, but he never said he bought his drugs from, though. Notice that he never said who he purchased his drugs from. Nah, but see, the state can still pick up a homicide. The feds continue to kick rocks all you want, but New York State has the right to prosecute you. The people in New York State, that doesn't change, bro. The only time the state won't prosecute unless there's not enough evidence to prosecute. But if you admit you smoked something, yeah, they're gonna charge you with a homicide. They're gonna charge you. New York State, I don't give a fuck about that Fed shit. The feds might pick your shit up after the fact. Like you might beat a body, just like the guy with the good example. The Crown Heights riot. He stabbed the guy. He stabbed the individual. Remember? He beat New York State trial. The feds snatched him up and still got 20 out of him. Y'all remember that, right? If you sit and you admit to a homicide, they're gonna book you. Come down here, fingerprints. We got you. His immunity was only in the feds. It had to do with the state. How many dudes we seen physically tell on dudes and not do at least 2 summons? Yes. That's a fact. He went to jail for violating that man's human rights. They're gonna book you if you admit that you caught a state body. And now, if the feds snatch you up for a homicide, then the state may not pick it up. But if you physically say, yes, and I killed such and such, and they ain't lock you up for that, they coming. Yo, what's up? What? Boom. We had to close this case. Unless y'all can tell me something that's different. Nobody can tell me that unless you cooperated before. You know what I'm saying? You can go now. I got a buyer to give you. Yeah, I killed such and such. NYPD. What? They got to close the case. It still turns into something with the state of New York, the people in New York. That would mean that little Gary has a case in New York State. Let's try to find that. Forget all the paperwork. Why don't y'all for you? It's a for you to see is there a DBA or whatever the fuck they call it, D5, with little Gary name on it for New York State. And what year was he actually charged with the homicide of Rich Porter? Because Alpo said little Gary did it. Well, if I find Shaka, you know what I'm saying? I'll kick it with him. Yep, that would be Bronx County, City Island. Definitely Tatsy was popping. Like I told you, this isn't an outpost slanderman campaign. This is just going through his words and going through the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Going through his words, going through the paperwork. Part 2, I got to do after Christmas. I'm going back to this because it goes back to the uncle. It goes back to how Abe felt. But I'm going to play before I go. I got to play what she said. I'm going to do that, though, Tati. I'm going to see if I can. I think I know somebody that can locate him. So I get him on the line. See what he got to say. Nah, so New York State is grimy. They'll lock you up. They don't care about that. You see, they still got 25 out of Fat Cat. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about that. New York State will lock you up. Definitely because Rich Porter's name was so popular. It wasn't like Rich Porter was, even though he was hustling, he was a popular name. You know what I'm saying? He's a popular name. So that's like a win for them. Like, yo, Rich Porter, we got the guy, we locked up the guy that killed him, or the guy who said he murdered, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, I'm gonna check that out. And this is what Pat said yesterday, man. Because you have to go back to what definitely shots were made unique, like an audio. Shout out to Harlem. Shout out to everybody that pulled up for this. They don't say everybody that pulled up for this great content. You know what I'm saying, if I came across as a Alpo hater, I do apologize because I have to be unbiased. I can't just go because of Rich. So I do apologize if I came across that way, because I want you to really get the message. If you guys want to know what happened to Rich Porter, is Rich Porter in the actual indictment? No. Dementio's in there, Little Gary's in there. There's a bunch of other names that's in there that he did mention. So he didn't lie, although he didn't. It's not a freestyle. A lot of the shit he was talking about is in that paperwork. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I just have to keep it 100 because I don't want it to come across as a bashing campaign. I'm just going by what the paperwork says and going by things that the man said. But you know what I'm saying? It's no disrespect to nobody. We're gonna keep this respectable. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's opinions respected. It's a respectable content. It's all respecting. Like I said, Pat Porter, AZ, what I got of what he said, unless y'all got something different, which is your family thing, that's your thing. My eyes, if anybody asks me did Alpo kill Rich Porter until I see different, no. Now, did he say he killed Rich? Yeah, on the mixtape, boom. Now, if he didn't say in 1991 that he killed Rich Porter, it don't count. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but that's still a cold case, though. No matter what it is, it's still a cold case. It's still a cold case. It's still a case. Rich Porter was popular. Do you know that when he passed away, they had him all in the newspaper? And he said good things about him in the newspaper for being a drug dealer. He was giving trips to great adventures, block parties. They said they made it sound like he was the new Bumpy Johnson. To be honest with you, in the newspaper, they didn't make it sound like he was this guy that was selling all these drugs. In the newspaper, he was a martyr. So I'm pretty sure even with the guy, allegedly the guy who killed him has passed away, that would have been something that they brought up in the early 90s. Admitting to that shit in 2002, get out of here, But you said that was a part of your plea agreement when you first got locked up. This is what the man Outpost said. I copped out to this, I gave that. What year did you admit that you killed Rich Porter? On the mixtape? You sat down and said, yeah, little Gary did it? But you said originally that when you pled, that was part of the package. So again, I'm going into the package. We know that dice, but again, we know that that's your personal thing. That's personal. This is not me advocating for the Porter family. But again, I'm going with the paperwork, what Outpost said. I'm not going to say we're not saying that. What I'm saying is that they said in the newspaper, he had him as a martyr. So I'm pretty sure somebody saying that they killed him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going with that, Daddy, if that's how you feel. Paperwork wise, he didn't do it. In the actual thing that he said he told on, he didn't do it. That's my eyes. Paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's saying what he's saying. Yeah, this guy's talking. Yeah, the FBI agent, but the paperwork is saying totally nothing what the FBI agent is saying. It's not in the paperwork. You have to go what's in the paperwork. Again, if you put an appeal and that's not in the appeal, then you have a chance in coming home. Because this man said, see, a lot of times people say what they want to say because they think nobody could get the documents. He got the documents. The paperwork says he didn't do it. It's not in the paperwork. He killed Rich Porter allegedly because it was affecting his financials in D.C. He was the plug. Doesn't matter who, and that was partially, he did this and he said that, I couldn't stop him talking. I'm reviewing the actual indictment that he told on, all the bodies, all everything. The case he told on, the reason why Wayne Perry's in jail and two other, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got the actual paperwork. There's no mention of that. None at all. He mentions why he killed little Gary. He mentioned that. That 100-kilo deal was a New York City thing. He was supposed to come back to New York. They were supposed to put their money together. Yeah, we know that Donnie Brasco mentioned all the time. But a lot of shit that Donnie Brasco admitted was on paper. They mention this all the time, but it was on paper. That's it is because he mentioned all the crimes that Alpo told on. You can't slip a body in, because little Gary said, little Gary. So because in all reality, we know the world knows that Alpo just did not come to New York City by himself with little Gary. That's the best thing you said, brother. Yep, that's dope what you just said. I like what you just said. Hope I never got indicted for that. That's the best. That's dope what you just said right there. That was dope. I like that. That was unique. I like that. That was unique. Nobody got indicted for it. So how the fuck did you give somebody a body? Because it's a cold, even though it's a cold case, it's a homicide. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. And I said, I respect all your opinions. I respect this. I respect it. Harlem felt that, but you can feel some. Harlem really ain't feel that because when Post come to New York City, still on the West Side. I'm gonna be honest with you. We thought that, son, I think he killed Rich. That was a conversation here and there, but he would be on the west side of Harlem. So Harlem ain't think that because he's still on the west. When he came back to the town, he'd be on the west side. So Harlem didn't think that. That wasn't a Harlem thing. His sister would say, he killed my brother. And probably a couple of other dudes. But actually, Poe was still going to the west side. I can't say that Harlem felt that way. You know what I'm saying then? You know what I'm saying? He was on the west side heavy. So You know what I mean? Brother man, I have the paperwork. I have the indictment. I got the actual case that Alpo told on. The actual case. I got the case that he told on. Would you like it? Would you like to see the paperwork? Would you like to see the paperwork? It's well versed. Dates is right. They got the dates right. Would you like the paperwork? It's actually Alpo's paperwork. The shit that he actually told you. It's just that to get it, we had to get it through Wayne Perry's case file because Alpo case file is sealed. But would you like it? Would you like it? Would you like the paperwork? ZekeBlack131 at gmail.com. That's nothing. Listen, I have the case. That's what he told on. You know, the plea agreement, I got what he told on. We see he did 25 years. So we see the agreement did nothing for him. That indictment is his plea agreement. He gave all those bodies up. He gave all those bodies up. That's his plea agreement. What he said in that indictment. In that one, I don't know what he said with the VA case, but in that case, it is what it is. But to be honest with you, I think in my heart, he might have felt some way about the Rich situation because Rich cousin told on him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And he probably felt like, yo, he only ratted over me because he keeps saying I killed such and such. You know what I'm saying? So that might have been his personal get back. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I killed Rich. Nah, this plea agreement is what he got. Yeah. He's not. You know what's so funny? He never showed that. The only person who probably has his plea agreement is Troy Reed. That's who been fucking with him. What was his plea agreement? He still did 20 or 25, right? You know what I'm saying? But he didn't do 25 for DC. He did that shit for VA. He gave that DC shit up. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, you know what I'm saying? So what you do, go to pacer.com. Go to pacer.com and see if you can get it. It's called pacer.com. I pay a couple of dollars and see if you can get it. It's Albert Martinez. Not hard to get it. But this indictment, he didn't kill it. This indictment is not a wiretap indictment. This ain't the VA case. This is actually the DC case. This is Alpo words. They go holler at Miss T. Yo, Miss T, do you have his plea agreement? She wrote books. She know. Ask her. She can tell you. Ask her, Miss T, what's up? Do you have his plea agreement? That's a good question. Why don't you hit Troy Reed up? Troy was actually going to see it for 10 years. He got something to Alpo. That's it. But he actually told her. Yeah. Harlem wasn't scared. He was outside. Reminds me on Third Ave, used to come to us. That's how I was with JJ and them, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So she may have a book. She may have some, he might have gave her, or his people might have had his paperwork and gave it to her. And she has access to speak about things that's literature-wise. But until then, what can I do? I can only go off of the indictment that he told them. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's go back to Pat Porter, because this is why we're here for. Shout out to Pat. Shout out to Vlad. Yo, Pat, we see you. Merry Christmas, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you hate to have to bring all this shit back up. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. Pat Porter on her brother, Rich Porter. Police telling her they found his brother. Shout out to Vlad, 23 hours ago. Shout out to Vlad, man. Salute to Vlad. Definitely shout out to Unique, make an audio, Booty in them, Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everything in Sugar Hill, Harlem. You know what I'm saying? This is for y'all, man. Pat, thank you. This is Pat Porter. The real paid in full. Take notes, you heard?
Well, so now, Donnell is still missing. Rich has these 30 kilos. He calls Alpo to help him move some of the weight. And then on January 3rd, 1990, Rich gets into a van with Alpo
based on testimony and so forth that came later, Alpo asked Rich about $300,000 of cocaine and felt that Rich was lying to him. So he told Big Head Gary to shoot Rich. Alpo shot him as well, and they ended up dumping the body in the woods. How long after this happened did you realize that your brother Rich was missing?
I had spoke to him that night because this day was like the first time I came outside since I had been at my mother's house. It was really nice this day. It was really nice. And I came out. I went with my uncle, my aunt, and a friend. We went to...
I'm going to say this, though. Salute to Freddie. Freddie, we see you. We see you, Freddie. Dog Soldier in the building, you heard? Dice, we in the building. You heard what he said? We heard from Alpo's testimonies. Not on a piece of paper. Testimonies. What was Alpo's testimonies, right? Fred Magazine, Game is Over, DJ K. Slay made Dez rest in peace. Those was his testimonies. It was never, we seen the paperwork of Alpo saying what he had to say about your brother. No disrespect.
The Jackson Holes. When I came outside, Richard and Orland was on the corner. There was a huddle of guys. They was laughing, joking, having fun like they did. Everybody's a jokester. And came back, went in the house.
Your mic,
they weren't there.
Your mic was popping. Mike was good. Your mic was popping. Shout out to the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the BX. My nigga Mike. Your mic was good, man. Your mic was good, man. Shout out to Peanut, man. We here.
They were gone. And like 1-something in the morning, detectives came to our house telling my mother that they found the body of her son. And she's screaming and crying.
Definitely salute to Miss T. She's definitely a East West Harlem representative. Salute to her. Salute to Miss T. She's an Eastern Harlem representative. She wrote these books. She's on these TV shows. Salute to Miss T. I don't have to clickbait to get on my. I salute to Miss T, man. You know what I'm saying? She wrote a book about Charles and Triple, just growing up in Harlem in that era. So definitely salute to Miss T, man. It's funny because Bugs, I met Bugs on Rikers Island when I got locked up in the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? And we was in the Spunks together for a little while. But definitely shout out to Bugs, free Bugs. He got like 40 years or 30 years and some shit like that from Lincoln. You know what I'm saying? That's how I met Bugs. I met Bugs in jail in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? But definitely shout, you know what I'm saying? So definitely shout out to everything in Lincoln. Rest in peace, Baby Maine. My man Irv from Madison. You know, my man Goldfin was getting money, Carl Black and all of them, you know what I'm saying? He was feeding the wolves, right?
She thinking that they finally found Donnell because we was thinking he got kidnapped December 5th. We kept praying and hoping that by Christmas that they would have said, well, you ain't getting it. They ain't sent him home. And if I said, well, they gonna send him home for Christmas. By the new year, nothing. So by January 3rd, going into the 4th, when the detectives came, we honestly thought that they were there to tell us about finding Donnell. And I guess maybe the way my mom was screaming Donnell or whatever she was saying, as they was looking like lost. Like, do you have a son named Richard Francis? And she was like, no, my son name is, now the license he must have said Richard Francis. So she's like, no, whatever. Well, they telling her that they believe that the body that was found was of her son, Richard Porter. They saying Francis, but they putting it together like it. And they know that it's a case open because they must have really, these guys were from the Bronx. The case is open with the feds and with whoever, but it's at the 32nd precinct. So they probably, I don't know whether they have a connection to know what's going on, but they had no clue until the other people got involved to discuss. We telling them, we looking for our little brother, da da da. They probably speak to the investigation that's going on, the people, the leading of the investigation, and they tell them. And then we found out that it was Richard, but it wasn't even a 24-hour before we found out it was Richard.
When you heard that your brother Richard Porter is dead,
lost, done, over, crushed, broken. Like even in the same sense, thinking his death would have still brought Donnell home now. Now that they know they can't get no money, send my little brother home. Yeah. I still had belief in that.
Shout out to Vlad, man. It's pretty emotional right there. You know what I'm saying? Pretty emotional right there. And just to hear somebody take credit in killing somebody at the worst time, it's just weird, man. Now, was he getting over on him? I don't know. But for years, the East Coast, at least the Atlantic Coast, wanted to know the Alpo killed Rich Porter because New York always had an influence over here to Florida, even before the rap game. A lot of OGs, there's a lot of original New York OGs that went south, went down south, upstate Binghamton and places like Boston, and, Burlington, Vermont, and Bennington, Vermont. Getting around, PA, Reading, the areas. And he just created another conversation, man. Uncle Apple, man. I felt her pain in that conversation. But he couldn't stand up to preach, It was a different animal. But I understood what she said. Why, when they had a conversation, why when they had a conversation about Rich, why you ain't say nothing? And then he said that the reason why he did what he did to Darnell, which turned to be a fact because that's actually a case in paperwork, that became a fact, was because they said that they were going to kill his son. So he sacrificed his nephews. That's a story that Apple's sticking with. But the story AZ got was that Apple and somebody else made the move, and then they told Preacher, and then Preacher had to go with the flow. But then it's also alleged that Preacher did say, give Darnell back. But Apple couldn't do that because Apple knew that at its worst, Darnell would have said, Uncle took me, and he was dead. She lost two good brothers in a matter of months. Harlem died when AZ got shot in the head originally. But we ain't see it. We go hard on AZ. Her father too. I believe Preacher wasn't in on it either. I believe those two fools moved fast. And then Preacher, this is what the deal is. I believe that Preacher and Rich Porter had good business. Whatever business they had, it was good business. I believe they had good business. Uncle Apple, you allowed the drugs to destroy you, to weaken you, brother. You probably was a strong black man at one point in time. But you allowed them drugs to make you weak and make weak choices. You became envious of things that you didn't deserve, but in the back of your brain, you believe that you deserve these things. I don't know why. Maybe you felt that at one point in time in your life, you was the uncle that introduced Rich to whatever. Who knows? I don't have nothing to do with that. I wasn't there for that. Rest in peace to LA, man. A lot of people died. A lot of people passed away in Harlem, man. The treachery that's on paper is what Apple did. I don't know if Pat forgave him. That's not my job to know that. I don't get paid for that. But one thing I am going to say, man, to see this woman sit on the stage and be well versed with her story, man. Y'all see Pat Uptown, y'all wave at her, man. Because she had to speak finally. Because everybody keeps speaking for her. And when she did speak a couple of times on these platforms, it was a video of 80 interviews. Nobody listened to Pat. Now we're listening to Pat like, damn, this shit is real, man. She lost 2 brothers to the game. Dice lost her uncle to the game, man. Dice lost her uncle to the game, man. Fallen soldiers of the streets in New York, man. And it's sad to say, as crazy as it sounds, Alpo didn't even die over the game. He just died over something crazy uptown, Halloween night. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I bought Kick That Gangsta shit after AZ told. I never looked at AZ as a rat. But AZ always made it known that he was out the game, man. He always said he was out the game. He knows the mother. When he started making those records, I can't speak about what he does behind closed doors. I don't know. But in front of us, what we know about A was making music. He was okay with leaving the game. Some people say he had him in the trunk and he had to shoot him and get out the car. What was it, a van? You said a van. You bought a custom van. You gotta pick and choose the story, bro. You guys, you're all over the place, but the paperwork says nothing. I bet you Uncle Apple paperwork says the Darnell situation and a piece of literature that he has. I believe that Darnell, I don't believe nothing that was being said other than they was trying to negotiate a good price. 500,000, who knows what was the agreement. But I believe once the cops got involved, it was over. It was over. Apple, that was a stupid plan that she was a part of, bro. That was a stupid plan that he was a part of. Yeah, rest in peace to all of them. And with that being said, man, you can be a part 2 to this. I just have to touch on the paperwork that I have. And love your family this Christmas, man. Remember, Darnell's situation happened around December 3rd. His family didn't have a good Christmas that 1989 Christmas, man. It wasn't a good Christmas for the family, man. It wasn't, man. Let's enjoy our family. Let's enjoy love. Let's enjoy family time. The Porter family didn't have a good Christmas. Darnell was gone. And the man that's sitting there watching the pain is worrying about some money, watching his sister suffer, his nieces suffer, his nephew suffer while you standing there, bro. With that being said, man, the game is over, man. The game is over, man. I got part 2 coming out 2 days from now. Merry Christmas to everybody. If we don't celebrate Christmas, happy Kwanzaa. If we don't celebrate Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah. Enjoy your families, man. Before I go, man, I like to shout out the markets that support me, man. Shit get a little emotional, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes some of the shit gets a little emotional. I'm human, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, let me get there. Our audience, man. Definitely shout out to the people in Canada, my supporters in Australia, and my supporters in Germany. Definitely shout out to all my supporters in Germany. I appreciate y'all. You can comment here. You're learning something. Shout out to Ron Books. He told me to put some more, like some content up so you have an idea what I'm speaking about. So definitely shout out to Ron Books. Definitely shout out to Daddy Mary. Definitely shout out to Daddy Mary. You know what I'm saying? Another, my big markets is United States of America, Canada, Switzerland, Australia, the Australians, and New Zealand. So I'm definitely being supported by the United Kingdom. A lot of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of probably UK. I appreciate y'all, man. Definitely shout out to Harlem, man, and East Harlem, man. I gotta go, man. Gotta do part 2. Definitely shout out to Wifey Southern Belle. I love you, girl. You know what I'm saying? Definitely wasn't expecting that, man. And before I go, party people, I gotta do my due diligence. The necessary necessaries. You know what I'm saying? Without y'all, there's no me. Feed the wolves, man. Enjoy your families, man. Enjoy your family. This is family time, man. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it, man. Definitely get in tune with the interview. And hold on. You know, sometimes, man, you have to appreciate the appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Oh, piece of shit. Hold on. Every shout out to my man Corey King out there. CK, you heard? You know, get in tune with that CK 212 thing. That's my guy, so that's the guy. Love is love. Let me get to this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Check out all the content, man. We push it out for Eating the Wolves. But you know, before I go out, man, I got to represent my man Unique, man. He did great on that Vlad interview, you heard? We're just doing the necessaries. You know what I'm saying? Remember when you heard that first? We ain't from Cam, heard it from me. But Cam can steal it, though. You know what I'm saying? Here go, Charles, my man.
You're my homie and you're my friend, bro. But we was raised to move in silence. You know, big shout out to my man Zeke Black, Double J, all them. You know, they used to tell me, you know, really Zeke Black, because Double J knew what time.
Boom. Shout out to my man Unique, right? Shout out to West Harlem, East Harlem, getting tuned. Follow Unique Maker Audio, Prison Stories. Definitely the OGs. We here, party people. Shout out to Spanish Harlem. Shout out to the East Army, FEW, FEB, the PT-131 crew, the TDO crew, the boys from Lincoln, AK Projects, Flow Boys, Wagner, Taino, Jeff Mob, Eastside Lynch Mob 112, Rush Mob, High Post Crew, TWB, TDO crew, TFAs, East Army. We here, party people. Shout out to my boys in the Isaac Projects, Sean and Mike Sustack, you know what I'm saying? Carver Mob, Madison Mob, can't forget about them. Black Park crew, Hill Ho crew, 100th Street, Dead End Kids, LBC crew. Yeah. Clinton Projects, Lexington Projects, Washington Projects, Money Tree, TRU, Wash Mob, SDS. Rest in peace, Ant White. Rest in peace, Tone Lopez. Rest in peace, Superman. Rest in peace, my man Dave-O, you heard? 15th to 55th, you heard? Shout out to my man Timothy Simmons from 155th and Amsterdam Avenue, that one tall building. Shout out to my man Timothy Simmons, you heard? With that being said, I gotta go, man. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to St. Louis. Shout out to Cuzzo. Dice, we in the building. Force of the Tab. FTW, FEB. I just spoke to Mad Jack the other day. Mad Jack is doing good, man. That's my spokesman. He was in Wisconsin. He was in Milwaukee. Shout out to Mad Jack. I was just on the phone with him 2 days ago. Mad Jack sends his love. Visual FTW, right? You know what I'm saying? That being said, man. Peace, love, and unity. Yes, send it to me. Yes, send it to me. I DM Zeke Black Feed the Wolves. You want that paperwork? Zeke Black 131 @gmail.com. Bye.